Hello, and a massive, enthusiastic welcome back to the Animal Notebook channel. I am so pumped to have you here for our definitive explainer, zebra bird, Ziggy the zany little bird. Whether you're a seasoned birder or just someone thinking about bringing a tiny new companion into your home, you are in for a serious treat today. We're looking at one of the most energetic and, honestly, scientifically fascinating birds on the planet.
So let's jump right in. I want you to meet Ziggy. He's kind of our unofficial mascot for today's explainer, repping his entire species. Just imagine this vibrant, totally zany personality bursting from a tiny feathered frame. These little guys have actually been domesticated for about 150 years now, and well, it's pretty easy to see why they've captured hearts all over the world. It's that cheerful chattering and literally non-stop energy.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start by officially meeting the zebra finch, then we'll travel to their wild roots and explore their social lives. After that, we'll cover exactly what you need to know about caring for captive finches. Then we take a really fascinating turn into the science of finch song. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a high-energy zebra finch FAQs lightning round.
Part 1. Meet the zebra finch, or Taeniopia guttata. These are super compact little birds. They measure only about 4 to 5 inches long and weigh a mere 12 grams. To put that into perspective, that's basically the weight of a couple of quarters. But do not let that size fool you. They are totally built for active, relentless flight. Now, visually, the differences between males and females are actually quite striking. The males sport these unmistakable bright orange cheek patches, a bold black breastband, and beautiful chestnut flanks that are spotted with white. The females, on the other hand, are a lot more subtly colored. They rock this gorgeous, sleek gray without those flashy patches. But here is the real secret. Pay attention to their beaks. The intensity of that red-orange beak color is actually a massive biological signal. It tells other birds about their health and their carotenoid intake, which plays a huge role in how they choose their mates.
Moving on to part 2, wild roots and social life. Life in the Australian outback.
Before they were hanging out in our living rooms, these incredibly resilient birds were surviving and really thriving out in the vast, dry grasslands and scrub savannas of the Australian outback. Out there, they are a highly social flocking species. Basically, a single finch is a lonely finch. In the wild bush, they rely heavily on large, bustling flocks for safety, finding food, and just sharing social information. But even within that massive flock, they're surprisingly romantic. They form incredibly strong, long-term pair bonds, often mating for life, all while still enjoying the safety and community of the broader flock. To survive in such a harsh, unpredictable climate, they've become what's known as opportunistic breeders. Out in the wild, they don't sit around waiting for a specific season. Nope, they wait for rain. When rainfall finally brings an abundance of seeds, they get right to work. And incredibly, these birds mature in just 70 to 80 days. That hyperfast maturity is exactly what allows them to rapidly adapt and multiply in those super dry, highly variable environments. All right, part 3. Caring for captive finches, your feathery roommates.
So how exactly do we translate that wild Australian lifestyle into our homes? Well, if you're thinking of bringing a Ziggy into your life, responsible husbandry is absolutely crucial. Let's start with their dietary needs. Giving them an unlimited bowl of just one cheap seed type? Yeah, that is definitely not going to cut it. They need a fully nutritionally balanced diet. A high-quality small finch seed mix is the base, sure, but they desperately need fresh green vegetables, egg food for healthy protein, and a cuttlebone for calcium. That cuttlebone is especially vital for laying females to stay healthy. Now, let's talk real estate. Step 1, choose a wide cage. Because they are such active flyers, horizontal length is infinitely more valuable than excessive height. They really need a clear flight path. Step 2, add multi-level perches. Natural branches of varying diameters are actually best here because it keeps their tiny feet healthy. Step 3, provide a shallow water bath. They absolutely love to splash around and keep their feathers pristine. And step 4, keep their cage away from drafts, smoke, and kitchen fumes. Birds have extraordinarily efficient respiratory systems, which unfortunately makes them highly sensitive to our everyday household chemicals. When it comes to their diet and overall care, the main philosophy to keep in mind is that finches are really observation pets. They aren't typically birds that enjoy being grabbed or extensively handled. Think of them more like your zany, feathery roommates. They much prefer that you admire their beautiful songs, their energetic flocking, and their funny little antics from a respectful distance. Part 4. The science of finch song, a model organism.
Okay, prepare to have your mind blown for a second. We are transitioning from the living room directly into the laboratory. These tiny little pets are actually massive superstars in the world of neuroscience, memory, and genetics. Let's talk about a concept called cultural transmission. You see, a male zebrafinch's song isn't just hardwired into his brain from birth. Young males actually have to learn their unique songs during a highly sensitive developmental period. They do this by listening to and imitating adult tutors, which is usually their fathers. This learning process physically changes the vocal learning circuitry in their brains, and it maps so incredibly closely to how human babies learn to speak. Because of this, they are literally one of the most important models in the world for studying neurobiology and learning.
And that brings us to a massive milestone, the year 2010. Because they are so fundamentally important to science, the zebra finch became one of the very first bird genomes to ever be fully sequenced and published. So, from the dry Australian scrub to the absolute cutting edge of genetic science, Ziggy has quite the resume.
Part 5. Zebrafinch FAQs, the lightning round.
All right, Animal Notebook community, we have reached the grand finale of our explainer. It is time for the highly anticipated lightning round. Let's hit the top 4 zebrafinch FAQs to solidify everything we've learned today. Question number 1. How long do zebrafinches actually live? It's pretty much the first question every prospective owner asks.
Well, wild survival is harsh. That gives them an average lifespan of about 5 to 9 years out in the bush. But in captivity, thanks to a stable, nutritious diet and absolutely zero predators, they can easily live up to 10 to 12 years. And honestly, with pristine care, some exceptional birds have been known to live even longer than that.
Question number 2, and this is a massive one for pet care. Can a zebra finch be kept alone? Emphatically, absolutely not. No way. Think back to their wild social flocking. Prolonged solitary confinement is terribly, terribly detrimental to their mental and physical health. You must always keep them in pairs or small, compatible flocks. They desperately need that social information and companionship to thrive. Moving right along to question number 3. Do they breed on a strict seasonal schedule? Nope. Remember their Australian outback roots. They are opportunistic breeders. If you give a captive pair a nest box and plenty of food, their brains will basically go, hey, it rained, times are good, let's have babies. So if you do not want frequent clutches of little pale blue white eggs popping up in your house, you have to be a responsible owner and remove those environmental nesting triggers. And our final fun fact question to wrap up the lightning round, how exactly do zebra finches drink water? Believe it or not, they suck it up like a straw. This is so surprisingly unusual in the bird world. Most birds actually have to scoop up a tiny sip of water and physically tilt their heads back to let gravity do the work. But the zebra finch, they can just dip their beak in and slurp it right up. It's actually a brilliant adaptation for grabbing a super quick, safe drink at a perilous watering hole out in the wild. Which leaves us with one final provocative question. Are you ready to welcome Ziggy, the zany, feathery roommate, into your home? Whether you are studying their genomes in a lab or just enjoying their cheerful little beeps with your morning coffee, these birds are truly spectacular. Thank you so much for tuning into this explainer on the Animal Notebook channel. Stay curious, respect our feathery friends, and keep learning.